Oh, yes. When I found out that Google was doing career certificates and they had one in data analytics, I thought it seems like an easy choice. After completing the program, I was familiar with all the tools of the trade in all the real-world applications. I worked a lot of jobs. They weren't anything I was passionate about, and I'm able to do data analytics now as my full-time job, and I'm happy.
Put your skills to work with a Google Career Certificate.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this workshop, Explore Business Intelligence Skills and Careers. I'm Sally, a business intelligence analyst in Google's People Operations organization. I'm also the instructor that will guide you through the videos in the first course of the Google Business Intelligence Certificate. I'm excited you've joined us today. In this workshop, we're going to explore business intelligence skills and careers. The workshop is designed for anyone who's interested in exploring a career as a business intelligence professional. If you would like to gain foundational skills in data analytics, which is an important component of business intelligence, start with the Google Data Analytics Certificate first. The Business Intelligence Certificate will take you deeper into the world of data analytics, and you will learn more technical concepts specific to business intelligence. For this workshop, we're going to assume that you have some basic background knowledge of data and data analytics. We'll build on that knowledge as we discuss the field of business intelligence. We're excited to hear from you, and we have a team ready to respond today. If you have any questions as you watch this workshop, please submit them in the chat section so we can answer them. Today, I'm going to introduce you to the fast-growing field of business intelligence, or BI. First, we'll define business intelligence and learn how business intelligence allows companies to make decisions that help them grow and thrive. Then we'll learn how data forms the basis of business intelligence. Next, we'll discuss what BI professionals do and learn about the three main stages of BI: capture, analyze, and monitor. Then we'll learn about the job opportunities for business intelligence professionals. You'll find out how you can launch your own career in BI and what to expect from Google's Business Intelligence Certificate. Finally, we'll review everything discussed in this workshop and let you know about resources from Google that can help you grow your career. Now let's get started by defining business intelligence, which we'll also call BI moving forward. Business intelligence uses various processes and tools to turn raw data into easy-to-understand, actionable information. Organizations rely on this information to make better strategic and operational business decisions. Some business intelligence responsibilities include measuring performance, tracking revenue or spending, and monitoring progress. Once businesses receive these insights from their business intelligence professionals, they can then use them to make informed decisions. Let's get more specific about what that means by looking at a few examples. Businesses of all types collect and analyze data to make important decisions every day. A retailer might use BI to collect data on clothing sales over several months to determine which clothing items are most popular. They might use this information to decide which items to offer more of in the future. They could also use BI to identify issues in their supply chain and optimize their processes to make sure customers get the products they need as quickly as possible. A restaurant chain might use BI to gather data on supplies needed at each location, and then use this information to determine how many supplies need to be ordered. An app developer could use BI to track data on user visits to various parts of the app, and then use that information to decide which parts of the app to upgrade first. An HR organization might use BI to collect data on the number of open positions by team, and then use this information to ensure that there are enough recruiters working within each team. Take a moment to think about how other types of businesses might use BI to help them succeed. A tremendous amount of data is created every single day. Every time you post a photo online, visit a website, or complete a transaction online, you are creating data. Businesses need to be able to sort through all that data they collect and then generate insights to help them make informed business decisions. Here are a few key terms and concepts to help you understand how organizations use data throughout their business intelligence processes. Data maturity describes the extent to which an organization is able to effectively use its data to make informed decisions. In other words, data maturity is a measure of how advanced and useful a company's data is. What does an organization's level of data maturity mean for business intelligence within that organization? An organization with a low level of data maturity might be creating individual data reports manually. This means that accessing meaningful data can take a lot of time. The more time it takes, the less often that data can be used to drive meaningful decisions. Meanwhile, an organization with a high level of data maturity would have processes in place to automate data reports. This means they can access meaningful data faster and more easily, which leads to more team members using data to make decisions. Data models are visual representations that show how data elements are organized and how they relate to one another. They help keep data consistent across systems and make clear how the data is organized. Data models are important in BI because they help project stakeholders discuss and agree on what data will be used to build a BI solution. Like a blueprint for a new building, a data model shows which data will be used and how that data will be organized. For example, a data model for a large retail store might include information about total sales numbers, sales promotions like discounts or buy one, get one free campaigns, purchase channels online or in store, the performance of individual stores, or payment methods used by customers. Data pipelines are processes that transport data from various sources to their final destination for storage and analysis. For example, if you owned a website that sold widgets, your BI team would collect data from people who browsed your website, and that data would be moved into storage for future use via a data pipeline. Just as physical pipelines help move things like water or gas to new locations where they can be used, a data pipeline moves data to the place it needs to be stored so it can be analyzed. But unlike a physical pipeline in the ground, a data pipeline is a series of steps or processes that BI professionals manage. Data pipelines are important in BI because data is typically gathered from different sources that organize data in different ways. But the data needs to be brought together in one place for analysis. Imagine you owned a website that sold widgets. Your BI team would likely collect multiple sources of data, including data from people who browsed the website and data on sales made on the website. Those different sources of data would need to be collected and moved to the same database or data warehouse via a data pipeline. Once the data is collected, stored, and organized, it's time to analyze the data and find conclusions that businesses can use to make decisions. Once the data is ready for analysis, it will often be displayed in a dashboard. Dashboards are reporting tools that show data visualizations like charts and graphs. They can continually update with live incoming data to monitor performance. When a business wants to understand its performance, decision makers can check the dashboard at any time for an up-to-date snapshot of the metrics they've chosen to track. For example, if a retailer wants to know which items are popular so they can decide which ones to produce more of, their BI team could create a dashboard that shows overall online sales, how quickly certain items sold out, and demographic information about the buyers. Using this information, the retailer can plan to stock future items for their target buyers. If you've heard of data analytics or have completed the Google Data Analytics Certificate Program, some of what I said thus far in this workshop might be familiar to you. That's because business intelligence builds on a foundation of data analytics. Both BI and data analytics empower companies to make data-driven decisions. They are both fields in which professionals use data to create insights that inform decision-making. Data analysts share insights through reports, while BI professionals build tools like dashboards and data pipelines that decision makers can monitor themselves. BI is focused on making data easily available to and understandable by organizational leaders. BI professionals are expert builders of tools like data pipelines and dashboards. To further clarify how data analytics relates to the larger world of BI, let's talk about the three main stages of BI: capture, analyze, and monitor. The capture stage is the what happened point in the BI process, when static, backward-looking data is collected. In other words, data from the past, which will not change. For example, a company's BI professional might want to figure out how many items their customers purchased last month. They could use a programming language like Python to request information from a database to deliver the data they need. Or they might access a spreadsheet that lists profits and losses from the previous quarter. Either way, they'll be looking for data about something that happened in the past during this stage. In this scenario, you'll imagine you're a BI professional working for a company called Cherry's Chocolates. This thought exercise will help you give a better sense of how BI professionals think. Here's a little background. Cherry's is a gourmet chocolatier with brick-and-mortar stores in 3 cities, plus a thriving online business. They have been open for 4 years and use social media and print marketing to advertise, which means you can explore trends from previous years and marketing campaigns. Imagine you need to use business intelligence to estimate how many chocolates to have ready in your brick and mortar stores and your warehouse, ready to sell for the month of December. What data will you need to track in order to get the answers you need? Take a few moments to think about your answers or write them down in a document. If you'd like, pause this video while you write down your answers. Let's talk about which data you use to help decide how many chocolates to have ready to sell in December. First, you'll probably want to look at how many chocolates you sold in previous Decembers. You'll need to know exactly which items were sold in each store and online. You might also look at trends. For example, how sales in your current year compares to previous years. You might even want to look at your current and past marketing spend to make an educated guess about how your current marketing might affect December's chocolate sales. Using business intelligence will give you the best possible chance to meet customer demand without overbuying ingredients that might go to waste if they remain unused. You can get this information by capturing data about sales and marketing spend in past years, broken out by store location and region. Capturing information is a necessary element of BI. But information alone doesn't let a company know what's working well, how they can improve, or what they should do next. In the capture scenario, you thought about which data you'd capture to determine how much chocolate Cherry's Chocolates should have in stores and in their warehouse. On the next slide, I'm going to show you a spreadsheet full of Cherry's Chocolates sales data. Your goal will be to make observations about the data you see in the spreadsheet. What kind of data might help Cherry's Chocolates determine how much chocolate to stock in stores and warehouses in December? Businesses store data in lots of different ways. In the case of Cherry's Chocolates, sales info from the stores and online are pulled into a spreadsheet that displays all the data. As you can see, there's a lot of data in the spreadsheet. It contains sales data from 3 retail locations, plus the online store for every month going back 3 years. It shows sales by dollar amount and unit. Many businesses use datasets that are even larger than this one. This dataset is displayed on this slide to give you an idea of how having a lot of data doesn't necessarily help you answer a specific question. So to find out how many chocolates to stock for December, we need to see the information relevant for that particular month. It would be helpful to know how many units of chocolate were sold in each store in December over the last 3 years. That means we'll need to filter out a lot of the data from this spreadsheet. There are some other issues we'll need to address in order to use this data. Some cells in this spreadsheet contain errors or no information at all. Missing, damaged, or incorrect data will need to be cleaned, which is one important part of the job of BI professionals. If you've already studied data analytics, you most likely know a bit about this stage. We just established that capture is the what happened stage. Analyze is the why did it happen stage. During the analyze stage, the data is organized and examined. Then BI's professionals look at the data and use it to draw conclusions, make predictions, and drive informed decision making. This stage allows businesses to develop effective plans and strategies that are backed by the data they've collected and will continue to monitor in the next stage. In the capture stage, you gathered and prepared the appropriate data. Now, here's that same data cleaned with all months removed except for December. The spreadsheet on this slide now shows unit sales for December for all 3 stores and online for the last 3 years. If you look at each store's December sales year over year, you'll notice that sales went up by about 10% each year. So this year, you can estimate that you will sell about 10% more chocolates in each location than you did last year. Of course, you'll want to take other factors into account, like your marketing costs and events that might have affected in-person sales, like winter storms. A great BI analyst will take all the available data and help craft it into a narrative that will help decision makers make the best choices for their business. We've covered captured, the what happened stage, and analyze, the why did it happen stage. Now let's talk about monitor, which is the what's happening now stage. The monitor stage is about ongoing data collection, storage, and organization. In other words, BI professionals make sure that companies have access to data as it develops real time. This includes setting up automated tools like data pipelines to deliver usable information directly to reporting tables. These tools make sure your data comes directly to you. You won't have to go searching to find it. Another good example of data monitoring is using dashboards. As I mentioned before, dashboards are data displays that update in real time and can be accessed by data analysts and company decision makers. If you were a BI professional for Cherry's Chocolates, you would likely build a dashboard that tracks real-time data. Which data would you track on an ongoing basis and why? A BI professional would also need to consider how they would design the dashboard in order to share data in the most useful and user-friendly way. If you'd like, pause the video now and list the types of data you'd want to track on your dashboard. This slide shows one example of a dashboard that might be set up by the business intelligence professionals at Cherry's Chocolates. The line chart at the top of the dashboard shows total online sales per year, while the pie chart on the bottom left shows total unit sales, and the bar chart on the bottom right shows sales per store. This is the data that the Cherry's Chocolates BI professionals have chosen to display on their dashboard. But remember that BI professionals can choose to display any data they feel will be useful. Remember that dashboards track data as it comes in. So the executives at Cherry's Chocolates can check the dashboard every day or even multiple times per day to see how well their business is doing. Now that you've learned about business intelligence, you might have a sense of whether you'd like to pursue a career in BI. If you are interested in starting a business intelligence career and have already learned about data analytics or completed the Google Data Analytics certificate, the Google Business Intelligence certificate might be a great fit for you. In the Google Business Intelligence certificate, you will learn how to use data models to extract, transform, and load, otherwise known as ETL, processes that meet organizational goals, design data visualizations that answer business questions, and create dashboards that effectively communicate data insights to stakeholders. You'll also learn how to use the following tools: BigQuery, Dataflow, Tableau, Google Sheets, Google Slides, SQL, and Python. And when you complete the certificate, you'll have a portfolio of BI work that can help you in your job search. The business intelligence field is growing fast, and so is the demand for qualified workers who can work in BI, including in entry-level positions. Organizations across most industries need BI professionals, and there aren't enough people with the right experience and skill set to satisfy this demand. So getting trained in BI is a great way to set yourself up for an in-demand, rewarding career. Business intelligence roles may be a good fit for people who enjoy solving problems and thinking analytically, enjoy working with data and impacting decisions, enjoy collaborating with colleagues and stakeholders to share insights that help people make decisions and streamline tasks, and love telling stories visually and helping others understand complex processes. There are two main types of BI jobs, analysts and engineers. It's important to note that different companies use different titles for their BI professionals. Two of the most commonly used titles are BI engineer and BI analyst. But keep in mind that BI roles you come across at various companies might have different titles. BI engineers are business intelligence architects and builders. They set up the systems to collect, store, and monitor the data. They also design, configure, implement, and improve data tools and processes. BI analysts are business intelligence detectives and communicators. They find out what stakeholders are trying to learn, then gather data, create visualizations, dashboard, and reports to communicate BI insights to others. These insights might be used to make decisions, develop a new process, or create a new business strategy. If you're thinking about making this leap to a business intelligence career, now is a great time. According to Lightcast, there are over 166,000 job openings in business intelligence. Completing the certificate will help you prepare for job opportunities in business intelligence. You'll be qualified to work as a business intelligence professional in a variety of industries. Google has teamed up with a consortium of companies that will consider hiring you as a certificate graduate in a variety of fields, including e-commerce, healthcare, manufacturing, marketing, finance, or tech. Upon completion of the certificate, you can directly apply for jobs with over 150 US employers, including Google, Salesforce, Adobe, and Verizon. These companies are ready to consider Google Career Certificate graduates and often post openings to an exclusive job platform that you'll get access to. The Google Business Intelligence Certificate Program has a lot to offer to help you on your path to a new career. The program has a low monthly cost and financial aid is available. It's fast and flexible. The certificate program is online and self-paced. You'll also get to learn from Google experts who work in the fields like me. I'll be your instructor while you complete the first course of the certificate program. All of the content is developed and taught by Google employees who work in the field. After completion of the Business Intelligence Certificate, learners will be prepared to use up-to-date tools and techniques to lead data capture, analysis, and monitoring processes within a diverse set of professional organizations. Graduates also have access to job search resources like access to staffing firms, Big Interview, an online job interview training program, and Interview Warm-Up, a tool that helps graduates practice and prepare for their next interview. And the Business Intelligence Certificate Program will help learners stay competitive in the job market and in their workplace. The portfolio projects enable learners to build tangible artifacts that can be used to demonstrate their BI skills to employers. Learners can provide these examples during job interviews or in discussions about advancement opportunities. Let's hear some testimonials from folks who have earned their credentials from Google Career Certificate programs. The learners who have taken Google's career certificates have had great results thus far. One learner, Johanna, said, "The certificate introduced me to another field that I find interesting. The instructors make you feel excited and optimistic about business intelligence." Kwame said, "The certificate builds on the skills from the Google Data Analytics certificate, solidifying those foundations while introducing new concepts and tools to differentiate data analytics from business intelligence. I felt fully immersed into the world of business intelligence and look forward to taking the next step in my career." And Latoya said, "I really enjoyed the certificate content because it helped to reinforce the foundational knowledge I gained from the Google Data Analytics certificate. Going deeper into the topics I enjoyed, like data visualization and communicating with stakeholders, while also introducing new tools and processes. I also found the activities challenging, which allowed me to critically think through the solutions and provide my unique perspective." Google also offers career certificates to help you find a job in other in-demand fields. You can prepare for a new career in under 6 months part-time. Google career certificates are available for data analytics, business intelligence, advanced data analytics, digital marketing and e-commerce, IT support, IT automation with Python, project management, and user experience design. Get started at grow.google/certificates. Let's do a quick recap of what you've learned in this workshop. Then I'll share some other free educational resources from Grow with Google. Today, you got an introduction to the fast-growing field of business intelligence. We define business intelligence and learn how business intelligence allows companies to turn data into valuable information they can use to grow and thrive. You learned that data is at the heart of business intelligence. Then you heard about the three main stages of BI: capture, analyze, and monitor. You learned that capture is about collecting data for an event that already happened. Analyze is about putting data to use to understand why things have happened. And monitor is about developing systems to collect usable data on an ongoing basis. You also imagine how you use BI to help Cherry's Chocolate solve a business problem. Finally, you learned about the demand for business intelligence professionals and found out about one way to launch your own career in BI, taking Google's Business Intelligence certificate. If you enjoy video lessons, subscribe to the Grow with Google YouTube channel at youtube.com/growwithgoogle. We want your feedback. Please share your thoughts by visiting g.co/grow/feedback or scanning the QR code on this slide. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck in pursuing your new career.